Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum viewers and my students. My name is Professor Dr. Rizwan Jamil Qureshi and I am covering criteria to select agile teams. There are seven criteria, there are seven factors to select agile team. The most important is competency. The team members should be highly skilled, highly specialized to select as an agile member. He must be specialized in programming, he must be specialized in quality assurance, or specialized in database design or in architect. So we need senior people. We don't need junior people to select as team member at the beginning to implement the agile methodologies. So competency means highly specialized, highly skilled senior programmer, senior database designer, senior architect, senior project manager, senior configuration manager, senior integration manager, senior database designer. Then second factor is problem solving. He must have skills to analyze a problem. That means he can study existing systems problem and he can compare the differences between the current system and what are the expectations of the customer from the new system. On the base of that, he can identify the problem and he can identify problem and he must have designing skill. He can propose or suggest a solution and the design I already covered in my previous video, that generation or designing of alternative solutions and selection of the best one, we also call it intelligent strategy. So he must have the skill of analyzing a problem and designing a problem. So problem solving skill should be there. He can solve problems independently without the help of any other team member. That is the second factor. Then decision making. He can make independent decisions. The third factor is decision making. He can make independent decisions. He doesn't need to ask other team member or the project manager or the team lead, shall I do this, shall I do this? Because we don't have so much time in agile methodologies, that there are time constraints, there are cost constraints, because it's a small projects, as I mentioned in agile values and principles in my previous video, that time is 2 to 3 weeks for one release and one iteration, and couple of months, 2 to 3 months for a project. So small projects are there. We don't have so much time to take permission, shall I do this, shall I do this, or ask the stakeholders, shall we do this, shall we do this. He can take independent decisions without the help of any other team member, and he must have confidence. He can bear the consequences. He can stand on his decision, that whatever the decision, the consequences, pros and cons, and he should have confidence to take stand on his decision, and he can defend his decision. Then the fourth criteria is the common scope. The team members should have synchronization in the agile teams. I remember one of the lectures of Alistair Cockburn. He told in his lecture that one of the software company in America, they decided to have offshore companies, the branches in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Dubai. So the chief executive wants to have distributed teams. But before starting work on a project, he called the project manager from all countries and he asked them to stay for 2 to 3 months in America together, to have lunch, dinner, it was a break, but it was not a break. Actually, he wanted that they can be synchronized with each other, they can understand the mental thoughts, synchronization, and they can have the understanding about the facial expressions, attitude, behavior, so they can have similarity in their thoughts, and they can gel well. The one of the factor, we want to have gel team, the team which have very strong collaboration, very strong coordination, communication. Like one of the values of Agile Manifesto, defined by Agile Alliance, by the top gurus of Agile software development, like I mentioned, Cockburn, Jim Highsmith, and Mike Cohn, that they must have collaboration. They can have collaboration, and they can have delivery, they can have reflection, they can have improve. So individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So people are the most valuable asset or the factor in whole software development. It's the people who can make a project successful or fail. So this is the most important element, and that the people, the team, they should have synchronization. They can have the similar thoughts, and they know what are the like or the dislike of the other team member. So if they want to work together, they must have the agreed on something which is likeness and dislikeness. So it's more attitude, it's more behavior among the team members to work them as one team. So they must have common scope. They can agree on common requirements, common goals, common functions of the project. So common scope is the fourth factor, fourth criteria to select agile team. Then the collaboration, as I just mentioned, the individuals and interactions. Interaction mean collaborate, deliver, reflect, improve. There is a cycle for coordination, for communication. So they can collaborate, and with the passage of time, because of the collaboration, they have to deliver. And this delivery should be with the passage of time. Then the improvement in the collaboration and improvement in the delivery should be reflected. So reflect is there. So there are two sub-cycles, collaboration cycle and delivery cycle. Collaboration cycle should be improved with the passage of time, as well as delivery cycle should be improved with the passage of time. So as I mentioned in my previous video, the Australian company, the realestate.com.au, they have 1,000 employees, and out of the 1,200 team members automatically transformed to agile teams, from traditional team to agile team. And it's very hot area of research, how to transform from traditional teams to agile teams, because most of the or majority of the companies face problem to transform their teams. And I am supervising one of the master students how to transform from traditional teams to agile teams. So this is collaboration should be improved with the passage of time. Delivery, the quality of delivery should be reflected, that with the improvement in collaboration, there is improvement in the delivery, quality of the delivery it should be reflected with the less number of bugs, with the better functionalities, and should meet the customer requirements. So common scope should be there, and they should have very strong collaboration. That means with the passage of time, the collaboration in terms of coordination and communication should be improved. As I remembered, in one of the company, they have it's a Sweden-based company, and they are going to have a gaming competition, a poker gaming competition, and there was a problem that game was not stable, and there was almost 3 months left before the competition and there was a lot of bugs, and team was it was a failure team, and they were facing problem to have stability in their teams. And then they decided to have implement Scrum, and they asked the stakeholders to deal with the product owner. And the product owner, as he joined the team, he asked them to sit close to each other, no more in offices development team, database designing team, architect team, testing team, integration team, sitting next to each other, so they can have a very quick communication, coordination, no confusion, no ambiguity. They can have share the information to all team members. So that's the objective, that by sitting together, and there is no direct interaction of the stakeholders with the team. They have to interact only, the stakeholders have to interact only with the product owner, and the product owner deal with the team. So there was only one gate for the stakeholders, where they can, one desk for them, and then the product owner give them freedom and how they implement the stories, how they implement the requirements. And with the passage of time, within 2 to 3 months, the failure team transformed to a successful team, and the releases were stable, and finally they organized the competition in a successful way, and the problem was dissolved. So collaboration is very important factor that can change a failure project into a successful project. So collaboration is the fifth factor. So the team member should have very strong communication skill, very strong coordination skill, and because it's a Agile team, as I already mentioned. And then trust and respect should be there. The sixth factor to have a successful Agile team, that they have trust. As I mentioned in my previous video regarding one of the Agile principle is trust and respect. The trust is the most important element to have learning in the team member, because it's a learning cycle. As I remember one of the videos of Alistair Cockburn, that when project begins, you don't need to worry about the business value. You need to worry about the knowledge value, because as knowledge value will increase, automatically at a certain stage business value will increase. So in order to have knowledge, the team members should have trust, that if I don't know anything and I ask to my colleague, for example, or one of my students about something who is more experienced, who is more specialized in his field, like I'm not working in software industry, so most of my knowledge, the examples, the case studies are shared by my students who are working in different companies all over the world. So if I ask something, he should not broadcast to other students or other people, oh, Dr. Rizwan doesn't know this, Dr. Rizwan doesn't know this. So in this way, learning will stop. So trust is there, and the respect is another element for the learning, that you must have to admit that he is your teacher, and you have to give him respect, you have to pay him respect, and then you can learn from him. Like I learned a lot from my students, and I'm extremely thankful to them. Because of them, my lectures are transformed into such way that it is beneficial for the new students, or now I'm sharing my knowledge over the internet through the YouTube channel to get benefit, and how they can improve their skills, their concepts, because I believe in that a concept should be transparent. There should not be any confusion. Like in my all lectures, I tried my level best that when student will leave the lecture room, he must be clear about the topics we have covered in that lecture. There should not be any ambiguity, unclearness. Like the requirements should be clear for any team, so they can have the designing and the implementation. Because if requirements are not clear, that means it will penetrate to the design, and from the design it will penetrate to the coding, and then whole project is going to fail, because then you need to go back to the again analysis and then design and implementation. So you have to pay respect, because this is the most important factor for the learning. So trust and respect must be there among the team members. Then self-organization. Self-organization means discipline, because Agile is a disciplined learning. And even I believe that you must be disciplined in any field to get successful. If you are not disciplined, you are not organized, like teaching. If you are not organized, you are mess up with your topics. If you are not organized in a team for any software, then project will be mess, and it will be, you are going to fail. Like I gave example of Sweden based company, which was a mess, because every time stakeholders were directly communicating with them, and the programmers or the team members, whatever the work they are doing, they have to stop it, and they have to entertain the stakeholder with the new requirements, with the new changes. And in this way it was a disaster, it was a mess, it was a failed project, and bugs were there, and there was continuously failure rate was there. It was like poison. It was one of the best examples of a poison team. So you have to be organized, you have to be disciplined, you need to plan your things. Like it's a saying in software engineering, like about 5000 BC, plan before begin to solve any problem. The people who plan their things, they are always organized, they are always disciplined, and in this way they are more beneficial for any team, for any company. So you need such people who are self-organized, self-disciplined. You don't need people who are messy, who are unorganized, like they are always deliver things late, and they all, because of the, if one member is there who is late, then that means every team member will be affected, because you are linked to each other, like analysis team with the designing team, and that the development team, coding team, testing team, integration team, they are depending on each other. Code, like designing team finished, then coding team started, then testing team started. So it's a linkage. So if test classes are not there, then you cannot work, because Agile is also called it's called test driven development. You have to design your test classes first before the software development. So the people who are messy, if you go to their office, one file is here, one file is there, one notes are here, one notes are there. You go to their rooms, you will find one pair of socks here, one pair of socks there, one pair of shoe here, one pair of shoe there. Their shirts are not organized, not ironed, and you cannot distinguish between clothes, washed clothes and unwashed clothes, dirty clothes. So you will find towel on their bed sheets are messy. Don't involve such team member. There is no place for such member in the Agile teams. So I will repeat again, there are 7 factors to select an Agile team: competency, problem solving, decision making, trust and respect, common scope, collaboration, self-organization. So you have to consider these factors before selecting an Agile team, and this is one of the most important element to get success in the project and to implement Agile values and Agile manifesto to have successful software development with the benefits of the agility or Agile software development. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair. May Allah bless you. Assalamu alaikum.